everyone, it's Cassie welcoming you to our December episode of Backyard Brimfield. This episode comes from Cranberry Creek Park on Lynn Road. This is our new pavilion on the top of the sledding hill. And I wanted to show you some nature findings from this park today. So behind the dog park, there is a large field of goldenrod, which is very beautiful in the late summer and throughout the fall, but right now it doesn't look like a whole lot. But it's actually full of life if you look very closely. If you've looked closely at goldenrod before, you may have noticed these ball-like structures that form on its stems. And I wanted to tell you a little more about what these are. So these are called a gall, and a gall is a growth on a plant caused by insects, fungi, bacteria, viruses, nematodes, or even other plants. This particular gall is formed by an insect called the goldenrod gallfly. The adult fly will lay its eggs on the bud of the goldenrod plant in the spring, and in about a week the eggs will hatch and the larva will move into the stem of the plant, which causes it to form a hard, protective outer layer with a soft inner chamber, where the larva will stay until it becomes an adult and emerge the following spring. The adult fly only lives for about 2 weeks, and in that time, it will lay its eggs on another goldenrod plant and begin the cycle again. One of my favorite things to look at out on the trail is fungi. So I wanted to bring you a fungus you can find just about year-round, and this is the violet-toothed polypore. So this type of fungus is what's known as a saprotroph, and that is your word of the day. So a saprotroph is an organism that gets its nutrients from non-living organic matter. So that's a fancy way of saying it's a decomposer. So it takes all of the dead branches and twigs and breaks them down into organic matter that becomes the forest floor. The violet-toothed polypore is a fungus that grows in colonies, and each one is about 1 to 2 inches wide. And it's white on the top and kind of tough and leathery, but if you look underneath, it has a nice little surprise, and it gets its name from the violet purple coloring underneath. Also, the term toothed refers to the tooth-like spiky pores on the underside. Now, this specimen's a little bit older, but if you find a fresh one in the spring, they really truly are a bright purple violet color. You can kind of see it in this one, but they are very, very beautiful and always fun to find on the trail. On my way back from Cranberry Creek Park, I stopped at the community center on Edson Road, and I was lucky enough to see a pileated woodpecker. I wanted to show you a few photos of the pileated woodpecker before I show you my video, because admittedly my camera work was not the best. I was lucky enough to get it on camera though. If you've ever tried to take a picture of a bird or a moving animal, sometimes it's a little more difficult than you think it's going to be. So the pileated woodpecker is the largest woodpecker in Ohio, and they're just a little bit bigger than a crow. And they're identified by their black and white body feathers and the red markings on their heads and faces, and the chisel-like beaks that they use to hammer into trees to find insects. Their diet is mainly insects, especially ants and beetle larvae, but they also forage for fruits and nuts in trees and on the ground. Males have a red marking on their face that I like to refer to as a mustache. Makes it easy to remember that the boys have a red mustache, where the females do not. Females also have a slightly smaller red crest on their head than the males do. So I'm going to show you my video of the pileated woodpecker. I apologize for the camera work, but you can definitely make it out, and you can even hear the call that they make that's pretty distinctive. I know it's hard to see and you kind of have to squint a little bit, but if you look at the point where I zoom in, you can see that this pileated woodpecker does not have a red mustache, and it has a slightly smaller red crest, so that would make this a female pileated woodpecker. I can always count on our fiscal officer, John Dalzell, to send me his awesome nature finds, and once again, he sends me something really, really cool, so thank you, John. I believe John took this out of his office window, which faces Westland Cemetery on State Route 43. And cemeteries are really great places to see hawks and other birds of prey because the open grassy areas and the tall monuments make perfect places for them to perch and to hunt. This bird of prey is known as the red-shouldered hawk. Red-shouldered hawks can be found throughout eastern and midwestern North America. And they're identified by their reddish-orange banded chest and their brown and white banded wings and tail. Female red-shouldered hawks are slightly larger than the males, and they average about 20 inches long and about 40 inches in wingspan. They are found in woodlands near rivers and swamps, which makes sense why we would find them in Brimfield, because Brimfield is very swampy. And their diet consists of small mammals, amphibians, crayfish, snakes, birds, large insects, and fish. Red-shouldered hawks hunt from perches or from flight, and it seems like I tend to see them while I am driving. They will be sitting on top of a utility pole or on a sign, watching and waiting for something to eat. A little word of caution that driving is not the best time to practice your hawk ID. It's a little too easy to get distracted by hawks flying over the road sometimes, so maybe better practice that at home. Thank you for tuning in to the last episode of Backyard Brimfield in 2020. Thank you so much for your support this year. I hope to be able to bring you more in-person programs in 2021, but until then, Backyard Brimfield is going to keep on going on. So if you find something cool in your backyard, make sure to email it to me and I'll make sure it makes it into the next episode on January 16th. But until then, I wish you all a happy holiday season, a happy new year, and stay warm and stay safe. Thank you so much for your support, and I look forward to bringing you more parks programs in 2021. So thank you and have a great day.